What's up, everybody? Welcome to the High Level Husband Podcast. I'm Tommy McAllister, rolling by myself today. And this podcast episode right here is called The Blame Game. If you're a man blaming your wife for the state of your marriage and thinking, I'm doing everything I can, she's the problem, then this episode right here is for you. We're about to remove the scales from your eyes. We're probably going to offend in certain things. But we're also just going to give you the real truth, because the hardest people who have the heart get the most offended are the ones who know it's the truth. And because they know it's the truth, it hurts the most. But we're going to get into it, guys. And I just want to let you know I love you. And these are the things that we need to be able to bring to the surface and talk about. Because when we see pain points in our life that hurt, we have to push in. We have to let run. We not have to push back. What we have to do is we have to let him sit with us and ask God to search us and go, God, what is the truth here? God's put my mission in life to be the voice of him in certain departments of this life, in certain areas. And one of those is marriage and calling men higher. To give me this boldness inside of me. Believe me, there's times I would rather not be bold, but this is what he's asked me to do, so I do it. So in today's episode, we're going to punch straight through your excuses, expose the root of your selfishness, and remind you why you are the one that God is holding accountable and not your wife. Guys, I think I've coached an insane amount of men around the world to successful, amazing life and marriages. But my team has also talked to an insane amount of people interested in coming into our high-level husband program, which is elite. And because of that, we've seen and heard every excuse out there. And I would say the one that we get the most from most men is the pointing, finger blaming at your wife of like, well, what is she doing? It's her. She's this, this, and this. She's never going to change. She's not doing this. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to have some real raw questions for you in this that are really going to hit hard. I might actually just go to those questions right now and pull those up, because I was going to save them for the end. But let's just jump into it right now onto this aspect of things. And so, because it's really, I think it's just these questions right here are going to hit home for you and really expose some things and also challenge you on some aspects of some of all of this. So let's go for the first question. You say she's the problem. Then if you're the leader of the house and you feel like you're the leader of the house and you're doing a good job, then why has your leadership produced no change in your house and in her? You're the leader. If you're the coach of the football team, why isn't the team getting wins? If you're the CEO of the company, why is the company failing and going bankrupt? Whose fault would that be? The janitors or the CEOs? It's the CEOs. It's the head coach of the football team, right? Sure, there's other aspects in it, but the head coach is the head coach. So you say she's the problem, then why has your leadership produced no change in her? If you're the leader, if you think you're doing great, that's your blind spot. Secondly, be honest. Are you doing the work to honor God or to get something from her? Are you loving on your wife? Are you doing these things in life, like working hard, providing, all the other aspects? Are you doing that because you just want to honor God and you just love him so much and you were going to love on his daughter that he's given you as the leader of it, her? Are you doing it to honor God or are you doing it to get something from her? Because if you're like, well, she's not doing this and she's not doing that, you're doing it to get something from her. Do you love her or just the version of her that makes your life better? Be honest. Do you love her or just the version of her that makes your life better? Because if you love her, you'll just love on her. But if you don't really, really love her, you love what you can get from her. And one of the things I always say, it's what's wrong with the American church these days. People are in it for the gifts, not the actual gift. The gift is salvation. The gifts is, yes, God will do a bunch of other amazing things, but that's part of the sanctification process that will come from seeking first the kingdom of God. So many people are in marriage not because of the gift of her and what God's doing through you guys to propel your mission and purpose in life, to sanctify each other for your holiness, not your happiness. They're in it for the gifts. What is she doing for me? Is she sleeping with me? Is she giving me respect? Is she honoring me? Is she doing all of these things? Or are you just loving on her? And because you just love on her, those things naturally come. That's what it is with God too. If you're doing those things just to get something from God, he knows your heart. And he's not going to go, well, oh, here's all those things. He says, I want your mercy, not your sacrifice. And your sacrifice is like, well, I'm just doing this to get. Mercy is your heart actually does that. Now, I'm just going to touch on that for just a quick second. I'm going to do a whole podcast on that. In the first, it will feel like sacrifice, guys. With God, it will feel like sacrifice. And that sanctification process will lead you, when you keep going through obedience to get to mercy, will lead you there, to get to that surrender. Same thing in your marriage. At first, there are some just sacrifices you got to do. That it does feel like pulling teeth. It does feel like putting your head in the door and slamming in the door and the jam of it. It does feel like that. But as you're going through your growth process and the reordering of your family and all these things are happening, it'll go less from sacrifice to actual mercy. Would you do the work and get the growth to become who God has called you to be, even if you got nothing from her? Like if you just said in this moment, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the sacrifice and it's going to turn to mercy. And I'm just going to do this because I love God so much. This is part of my purpose in life. Even if you would never get an iota from her. Would God call your love for your wife sacrificial or selfish? That's the last question. Would God call your love for your wife sacrificial or selfish? Because sacrificial is not trying to get anything out of it. Or is it selfish? Well, I'm doing this, but she's not doing this. And as soon as you say that, it's selfish. What does Jesus say in the Bible? We must die to self. We must die to self. If you're not dying to self and you're trying to get these things from your wife, you're selfish, which is why the very first step in our program is that die to self. It's like this resetting of your life. We got to let the things die off in you that are holding you back from becoming who God's trying to create you to be, to get your marriage who God's trying to create it to be, which will get your wife who God's created her to be via you on all of that. Chances are you're selfish. You know what all those answers were. You want to get things from her. And it's not just sex. I know that's a part of it, but you just want respect. You just want peace. You want poise. Like you want all of that. So let's go back real quick. I'm going to go into my notes right here. And I'm going to get back into the lesson, but I wanted to do those questions first because I wanted you to hear to some real ones that are like, yo, that kind of is me. I am kind of selfish. Most of us are. It's our sin that we were born into because sin is of this world that's what we're born into. So we have to be able to, through this life, die to that sinful nature of ourselves. Because you don't just get baptized one day and then just start going to church on Sundays and calling it good and then just feel like you're just going to get sanctified. No, it's like a daily process that we do that you will just grow in these aspects. So my first thing is like this. The very first things that we get from people, like I said, is, but my wife isn't doing the work. My question is simple. Do you think that you're better than Jesus? Like ask yourself that right now. Do you think you're better than Jesus? Because last time I checked, it says we're supposed to be Christ-like, so we're supposed to be like Jesus, but do you think you're better than Jesus? Chances I know every single one of you guys goes, no. Well, check this out. Of course not. So let's talk about how he responded when people didn't do their part. What did Jesus do when people didn't do their part? Because if you think that you need your wife to do X, Y, and Z, you think that you're better than Jesus. Well, if she's not doing her part, Jesus didn't wait for Peter to be a good man before he washed his feet. He didn't wait for his disciples to understand everything before he taught them. He didn't wait for the people to love him before he went to the cross. No, he did it anyways. He washed feet to get nothing in return. He taught them and loved them. He corrected them. He set the standards high for them, but he also went to the cross for them. And ain't nobody was at that point in time was really, really loving him. His apostles were, but he knew they were about to deny him. And one of them just put him on the cross. Peter just denied him 3 times. They would all run away and scatter. Thomas would be doubting. But he went there anyways, and it wasn't just for his apostles. It was for you, me, and everyone. But there was a time in your life where you didn't love Jesus. You're probably in a spot right now where you don't truly, truly love Jesus deep, intimately, and I promise you it gets deeper. I was just crying out to the Lord before I started this podcast. Like, God, I just want to know you deeper, which is a good thing because when you start seeking God more and more, you'll get hungrier and hungrier. So if you're not hungry for Jesus right now, that's a bad sign because you're just getting complacent. And the less you seek Jesus, the less hungry you are. It's opposite of the world's way. So if Jesus didn't do that, why do you need your wife to do that for you? Well, she needs to do these things. Jesus didn't do that. Romans 5:8 says, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So let's take our marriage. While our wife was still nagging, we died to ourselves. While our wife was not giving us intimacy, we died to ourselves. While our wife was not fun to be around, we died to self. Christ did it. We do it. We're supposed to be Christ-like. Well, that's easy for Jesus because he was like God. Yeah, 100% God, 100% man. Believe me, he wasn't sweating blood in the garden for no just like show. That was real sweat and blood. That's how stressed he was in that moment. But he did it anyways. So we must become like him. Jesus says we can do greater things than him because he's going to the Father as an advocate. Well, that is through a process of sanctification and growth and all of that. That's why it's constantly doing these things. That's why if you read the Sermon on the Mount, I've just spent the past 10 days or so in the Sermon on the Mount just breaking it down, and I've got my mind blown by it. Blown by it. It's this process. Jesus walks you through a process of all these things that you need to do. And at the end, he says, for the wide is the road and the gate that where people have that it leads to destruction, but narrow is the gate that leads to life, and only a few will make it through it. And he leads you through all these things that we do, not because you're earning your salvation, but these are the things that will sanctify you and show that your works, that you actually love God. Because if you actually love him, you'll actually seek him and you'll actually do these things for him. But with your wife, will you actually love her? You should actually do these things for him, just like you'll do them for your kids because you love them. But for some reason, you can't do it from your wife. That should show you that how selfish you are because you're wanting things from your wife. You don't want things from your kids. You want them to be good kids, but you don't want things from them. You just love them. That's how it is in marriage. It's when it becomes so easy. I was just talking with a guy yesterday on a call, and he's getting it though. He's going through this growth process, and he was just like, man, with my dad, like I just don't need any validation from him or anything like this. And I have a great relationship with him and all these things. And it's just easy going and all that. But he says, with my wife, I just crave her validation. And it's like, I'm just like, it's off. I'm off with her in these aspects. And I was like, well, let's take a look at that, bro. With your dad, you just love him because he's your dad. And you just have this great relationship with them. So you get to be authentically yourself. You get to be vulnerable with them, which leads to connection, and connection leads to love. Let's go look at your wife. Are you doing that with them? Are you being your authentic self? Are you being vulnerable? And is that leading to connection? He's like, well, no, not consistently, right? Yeah, he's holding it in. He's not doing those things, and he wants something out of it. He has like an end thing. Well, I want this from her. With his dad, he doesn't need anything from him, but his wife, he needs something from her, so he thinks. So that's why it's off. And I'm like, bro, you just gave yourself the blueprint. Your dad is like, you just have this amazing relationship because it's easygoing. Get that with your wife, and all of those things will be added to you as well. I promise. So you know what's cool about Jesus washing the feet and doing that with his men, like, and doing all of that and going to the cross for him and loving on him, even when for us? Eventually, those same men who misunderstood him, who abandoned him, willingly died for him. 10 of them died. Judas killed himself. John didn't die. He died of natural causes, but was put through the ringer. All the other 10 were killed. All the other 10 were martyred for Jesus. Peter was willing to be crucified upside down. When they were going to crucify him, he said, I'm not worthy of to be crucified in the same way as Jesus. Crucify me upside down. But at one point, he was denying Christ. Is your wife denying you right now? Jesus knew he was planting the seeds that eventually would turn to fruit. Maybe you're planting seeds, let it turn to fruit. Or maybe your seeds aren't actually turning to fruit yet because you aren't putting the right fertilizer on them. You haven't died to self. You haven't been reborn. You haven't started to multiply. You don't have your clear vision. You haven't died to all your old thoughts, patterns, habits, and character and increased your thoughts, habits, patterns, and character, right? That will start watering him in the right way. And eventually your wife will be willing to crucify herself, get crucified upside down for you, just the same way Peter was for Christ. Let it play out. Let it play out. But you got to go do the work to get that. It wasn't overnight. Peter was with them for years. I think it was like 2-3 years is what the minister at the time he was with Jesus, right? And he still denied him the day he was getting crucified. But eventually he got to the point where he said, no, put me upside down. That's where me and Diane are at. But I promise you, I was in your spot. I was in your spot. So here's what we got to go through, guys. I'm going to break down some other examples of this. But if you think you're better than Jesus, don't go and do that stuff. If you think you're better than Jesus, then chances are you're not a Christian. That's why I don't lump myself in with Christians. I don't call myself a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. There's a big difference. Don't lump me in there with somebody who got baptized and says that, oh, I don't need to go to church and I just have this relationship inside of my heart with God and that's what it is. It's like, man, don't put me in the same category as them. Don't put me in the same category as people out there getting drunk and justifying all these other things. Don't put me in that category. I'm proud to be a follower of Christ. I'm proud to consider my life worth nothing to me because I've been through hell to get here. Are you willing to go through hell to get what you need, what God has for you? And I hate to use the word hell, but are you willing to pick up your cross? I had to at the age of 39 when God basically killed me and said, dude, are you going to finally pay attention to me? And at the time I was a pretty good husband, pretty good dad, a provider, all of that stuff. And he said, you are missing the mark, son. You're the parable of the talents, the dude at the bottom. You have no idea what my character is. And so you're staying the same. Even though I was going to church, praying every day. Let's take another look in the Bible. Adam, right? What's crazy is so Eve, Jesus says, you'll know my people by their fruit. What's their fruit? Their character, love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, kindness, self-control, right? Like all the stuff, fruits of the spirit. But it's also like, so that's your character. It's also the things that you're producing in this world, the fruit, right? You'll know my people by their fruit. Well, Eve, a wife, won't need to go for the world for the fruit, look for bags and purses and trips and pleasures and other men or anything like that when she has fruit in her husband. So what did Eve go and do? She went and looked for fruit because Adam didn't have no fruit, or not the fruit she wanted, because she went looking for fruit. She got the apple and she ate it. It was pleasing to her, is what it says. But Adam stood by and watched. Because what does a passive man do? He sits by and watches. Oh, I just don't want to rock the boat. Every time I say something bad goes. So it's like, whatever, it's not even worth me doing it anymore. Cool, you're watching the ship sink and you're just like, you know what? I don't know. I could go sound the alarm, but like, whatever, what's the use? Give God a chance. Give your marriage a chance. Put some effort into it. So Adam just stood by and watched, just like, she enjoys that. I don't know, she enjoys the fruit. My wife enjoys the trips. My wife enjoys the bags. My wife enjoys this stuff. That's just who she is. We got to enjoy life too. He stood by and watched. She ate the fruit, and me and you are paying for it today. Now, God bless Adam and Eve. Somebody else would have did it. We already know. They were the first ones, and they dropped the ball. Right? But when they were hiding in their shame, which you know you have shame, what'd God do? Said, Eve, how dare you, right? Like, yo, you just took down Adam, and Adam's this great man, and he was being nice and just letting you be you and providing this living for you, right? And you messed it up for him, Eve. That's what he said, right? No. You know what he said? Adam, where are you? Adam, where are you? He came looking for Adam. Now, don't get me wrong. Eve has her blame in that. She 100% does. I can spin this down a whole nother rabbit hole on that. He came looking for Adam. Why? Because Adam is the leader. Eve was given to him as a helper. Adam is the head of her because technically she's his helper. Now, that doesn't mean below them. The word that's used in the biblical for it means like strength, encourage, or honor. Or like your helper is somebody who's amazing, just as amazing as you. Believe me, that's just her role, biblical role. So God said, Adam, you drop the ball. You're the head of this. Just as if a CEO drops the ball in the business, he's coming to him. He's not going to the janitor, the helper. He's going to the CEO. Let's use a real world experience example of this. You guys probably saw it going around. All the funny memes, and I'll admit there were some funny ones going around, but it's not a funny scenario though. The CEO who was at the Coldplay concert got put on the jumbotron, hugging on that woman who was his HR employee, right? So an actual below him in the business. That go down another rabbit hole with that, right? What did he do? He hid in that moment. Oh, who else hid? Adam. The guy jumped down, he hid. Then he got caught. This thing goes viral, right? This thing goes massively viral. What does he do? So now he's cheating on his wife. Yes, the woman's to blame as well. She had a husband. But here's the actual leader of the company and the actual leader of his household. And now this guy's a terrible person coming for somebody else's household and tearing it down. I guarantee they have their justifications, their excuses of why. Oh, nobody gets me. This person really gets me. I've provided. I've worked so hard. They don't do anything. They do spend my money. All the other stuff. What's the guy do? Afterwards, he's suing Coldplay right now for that. So one, he doesn't even take ownership of like, yo, I'm a terrible person and I'm cheating on my wife. This exposes his character. But then number two, he sues them. He sues them because he doesn't want to take accountability and just being like, yo, this was on me. A real man would do this. Yo, this is on me. This is a blessing that this happened to me. My life has got off course. I didn't realize how far it got off course. The world, I had conformed to the patterns of this world, but it's so far off course that this is where I'm at. And because it's where I'm at, I'm taking ownership. I'm glad the memes and the GIFs and all whatever you call those things and the reels and all the stuff are going around about me because it's exposing how wrong I was. I deserve this. But I'm also going to do something about it. So I'm going to use this hard moment. I'm going to use it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many, many lives. Genesis 50:20. That's what he can do in this moment and just turn it around and use it for good. But what's he doing? I'm going to sue him. Yeah, bro, that's going to help. Get yourself some more money. How's that working out for you? Yeah, let the whole world know that you have such a terrible character that now you need to sue somebody because you dropped the ball. Because you went to a public place with another man's wife and you're married and you're going to embarrass your family, your wife, and everybody else like that in publicly displaying it. And this is what's going to happen? Come on. Guess who else did that? King David. Because when he slept with Bathsheba and Uriah was out in the field, the solid man of God, Bathsheba had to walk all the way over in front of all the people to get to David's house. Everybody saw her. Everybody knows who she is coming to his house. They know what's about to go down. So when he calls Uriah back, I think his name's Uriah, right? Yeah, back. He wouldn't go sleep in his house. Some people say, oh, it's because he wanted to honor his men because he needed to be on the battlefield with them and he wouldn't go sleep in his own bed while his men are on the battlefield. Yeah, that might be one of the aspects. He didn't go into his house because he stood up by his character and said, no, I will not go into my house and sleep with my wife when everybody knows that she was just paraded around in public and David's character paraded around her in public, calling her over to his house. She's pregnant. I will not go down with this sin and be an accomplice to this sin. I will sleep out here. He was willing. And what David do? Send him away to be killed. Now, David is a man after God's heart. David repents. David changes. David does all of these things, right? To come back. So the God will do the same thing with you. He will do the same thing with you. There's a penalty to pay. He will do the same thing for you. But this CEO couldn't do that on any of those aspects. It's just the same way Adam wanted to blame other people for his things. The leadership falls on you guys. Adam's failure wasn't biting the fruit. It was his passivity, his silence, his blame shifting. And that same spirit lives in too many men today. Your wife may be out of line, but God still comes to you first. Why? Because God's first. If you need your wife to do all those things, God's not first in your life. You're not enough in God. You're not enough in God. You have no idea who God is. You probably have no idea what your purpose in life is. You probably are just trying to consume this world, just keep your nose above water, trying to just breathe air. And that's a blessing because he's trying to use this moment to get you to know him. You need some more examples? Let's keep going and then we'll wrap this thing up, guys. Ephesians 5:23. Go read the whole chapter of Ephesians 5. It's amazing, breaking down marriage in there. And it's such a great book. The whole book of Ephesians is phenomenal, obviously, but it talks about, for the husband is the head of the wife as Christ is the head of the church, right? So husband's the head of the wife. This is not a title. It's a call to serve, sacrifice, and take initiative. Being the head doesn't mean being the boss. It means you go first. It means you will lead when she won't follow. You love even when she isn't lovable, just as like Christ is the head of the church. We weren't lovable. He was still loving. He still washed Judas's feet knowing that he was about to betray him. You build even when she's tearing down. Jesus knew Judas was going to betray him. Did he like throw a fit, all this other stuff? I'm sure it hurt his heart tremendously. But he carried the mission on and still did it. You'll complaining to everybody about Judas. How many other times in the Bible do you see where Jesus told other people about Judas? Oh yeah, Judas is going to do this, Judas this, Judas. No. He knew. Still washed his feet. When they asked who's going to betray him, he said, the one who dips it in this cup with me, right? I believe that's what he said. He knew. He still shared bread with them, still sat with them and reclined with them, still shared a meal with them, still loved on him in that moment, still washed his feet. Jesus is a real man, masculine man. I bet you probably think you're a masculine man because you got yourself a bank account. You might even have some biceps on you. Drop a few F-bombs, hang out with some studly dudes. That don't make you no masculine man. Makes you a weak man if that's what you think it is. A bank account to go with a blessed man who's actually doing what Psalm says. Blessed is the one who acts justly and always does what is right. When the bank account comes with that and you're blessing the kingdom with it, yeah, man, that's awesome. It's part of being a masculine man, sure. Some biceps, absolutely benefit you, but not to just prove your masculinity. Strong friends, yeah, the right ones, the ones who are just what I do in with the Psalms verse I just told you. Blessed is the one who acts justly and always does what is good. Ask yourself, ask my friends, are they always doing what is good? Do they spend more time watching football or more time in their Bible? Do they know more about their football team than they know about the Bible? If you know more about their football team than you know about the Bible, you right now should just go, this is why my marriage is where it's at. I know more about my football team than I do about the Bible. How's that working out for you? That football team sure getting you a lot of respect from your wife, huh? Sure getting her clothes on the floor. Sure just making you so fulfilled waking up every day. You are just not stressed. You're never overwhelmed. You're just like, this life is amazing, right? Because you're a football team. No, you're stressed. You're overwhelmed. You're unfulfilled. You have no idea what your purpose is. You need everything from your wife. But yet you know the stats about all the players in the league. I was there. I used to have this line that I would tell my friends. Fantasy football draft day was my favorite day of the year. How sad is that? How sad is that? I loved it so much. Man, you're building this team. You have all your friends around. Everybody's drinking beer and you're just like talking crap and you're building out this team. If that was the best day of my year, that should show you how bad my life was. Man, that's so sad. So sad. I don't even play fantasy football anymore. I watch one Bills game a week because it's my team. I give myself that. And that's it. And maybe one day God will say, son, it's time to remove that next. And if he does, that's okay. Recently, I got a chance to pour into a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, reached out to me. I got to pour into them, speak life into them, prophesy over them. And they said, dude, what you just told me confirms so many things in my life. A top 5. This dude would be a first round pick in the fantasy football draft. Now he's reaching out to me. Come on now. But what was cool about that, the reason I'm telling you is this is possibility, but also for me in that moment, I was stoked. But at the same time, it didn't really change my day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like, this made my day. This made my year. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. No, because God is the number 1 draft pick. You're the number 1 draft pick. I'm the number 1 draft pick. God chose me and he chose you. And he chose your wife. He chose my wife. So I'm going to treat her the same way I would treat anybody else, with love and respect. Not to get anything, but just to treat them with love and respect. Serve them and not get anything back. I want to use an analogy for all of this, guys. And you maybe have heard me use it before. But it's like a quarterback of a football team, as you can tell. Football can be some analogies, but it's the ones men can usually get down with. Let's say if a quarterback throws for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and they lose the game. 37-33. End of the game, goes to the podium, get the press conference. And he gets up there and he's just like, psh. They're asking him questions. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, the defense, we got to figure out this defense issue. I don't know. We play pretty good on the offense. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. The other team has a good offense or if our defense just sucks. One of the two. We got to figure this out. The refs, starts blaming the refs. He starts blaming other people. All these other things. You know what's going to happen? He's going to lose that locker room. He's going to lose the respect of others, especially that locker room. They won't play hard for him. They won't have his back. They won't go the extra mile for him because he just threw him under the bus. Even though it was true, he threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and they lost. He did his part. Maybe. How's his leadership? If he's saying that, is the team really bought into the culture he's leading? He's the leader of the team. He's a captain. Do players want to play better under him? Is the words he's speaking life into this locker room better? Is he setting the example in his marriage, in his faith, in his fitness, in his health, in all aspects of his words, his character, his thoughts, his habits, everything, that the locker room throughout the offseason and season is like, yo. Because last time I checked, Tom Brady, when he went to the Bucs, everybody wanted to go play for him, and I guarantee they took a pay cut to go play with him because of that leadership. He made average players amazing. Are you making your average wife, because we're all average, but also chosen and special, better? But because his attitude was to throw him under the bus in the quarterback's position at the podium, it shows what his other leadership was throughout the time. So by you saying and blaming your wife in that moment, it's exposing your character. It's exposing your heart, your thoughts, your words, your actions, your habits, and your character, which is exposing your identity, which is exposing your destiny, which for that team will not be the Super Bowl winning, and for you, it won't be a successful marriage in life. And be very careful when you get to the end of this life and God asks you what you did with the talents that she's given you. When he came back for the people of the parable talents and he took the last one away because the guy stayed the same, his character, because he didn't know the father's character. But let's take this quarterback and flip it another way. This quarterback can do this as well. He can get up there knowing he threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and just said, hey, you know what? They're like, hey, you had a great game today. That pass in the corner was amazing and blah, blah, blah. He was saying it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. That's on me. I need to be better. This team can be better because I'm going to be better. We are going to be better. They're going to be like, yeah, but your defense dropped the ball. No, I dropped the ball. Our defense played their butt off out there. There was a couple plays that I missed that would have given them some more rest. During the week, you know what? I'm going to be better for these guys. I'm going to sit down with more of these guys. I'm going to encourage these guys more. I'm going to set the standards even more high for my guys. They're doing the best with what they've been led by, and that's me. And I promise you, they're amazing men. And I'm going to roll with them. I support them. Yeah, but so-and-so fumbled the ball twice today in the game. So-and-so is a big reason why we also got 4 touchdowns, is what I would say. When he fumbled that ball, I picked him up and said, no big deal, bro. We're good. We're good to go. You're good to go. Keep playing hard. Keep playing hard. Don't change a thing. Just keep playing hard. But when your wife fumbles the ball, you throwing her under the bus. Yo, what? She ain't doing good. She ain't doing good. She needs to be better. You see the difference in those two? If he can get up at the podium and say that, what do you think he's actually doing in the locker room? His locker room will be so for him. They'll put in the extra rep. They'll do the extra ice baths. They'll do the extra massage therapy things. They'll be in the word. If he says, yo, I'm starting a Bible study, they're going to be in the word with them. They're going to do this stuff because he's a leader. Because he's the leader. He's setting the standard. But if we're going to blame, I ain't following him. Go ahead and blame your wife. You're better than Jesus. You're selfish. You want what it's in it for you. Go read Ecclesiastes where Solomon keeps just saying it's all meaningless. It's all meaningless. In real-time term, he would have had trillions of dollars. 700 wives, 300 concubines, the wisest man ever to live, like all of the different stuff. And he says it's all meaningless. Why? Because go read in Ecclesiastes 2 at the end of the chapter. He's like, me, my. It was all about him. My money, my miss, my, me, this. Selfish, die to self, Jesus says. You will never, ever get an amazing marriage if you're not willing to die to self. Go learn some communication techniques and tell me how that works. Tell me how that works. Still as the selfish person who wants to blame. Because as soon as your wife fumbles, as you will, and you blame, you just pushed her into the fire. You just pushed her down farther again. And she probably had some trauma in her parents growing up, and now you just made it even worse. Some boyfriend or ex, somebody in her life treated her like crap, and now you're just confirming that men are like this. Or you can be somebody that is the reflection of Christ and disciples your wife because she looks at you, she sees Christ. Which one are you going to do? Which one are you going to do? So I want you to remember, re-listen to this, go back and listen to those questions I asked you. Would you still be doing the work if she never changed? Would you still lead, pursue, serve, and die to self if she never gave you what you wanted? Are you here to love like Christ or to fix your wife so your life is easier? I said I'm a little bit bolder than the ones above. Is your love sacrificial or selfish? I know I'm hard on you guys because there's so much more for you. I've got to expose the truth because I'm tired of people giving people outs. Give them grace. Give yourself grace, man. Yeah, how's that working out? Ain't nobody got no fruit. But we're getting you fruit. If you can take this blame and ownership and throw it in the trash and go and die to self, be reborn, and go and multiply your intimacy, your joy, your communication, your purpose, she will follow. And you will multiply the disciples around this world. I promise you when it gets to that point, it gets ridiculously special. I promise. But if you keep blaming, all you're doing is pushing the goal line where you want to go score farther away, farther away, farther away, farther away. That's what you're doing. Or every time you choose not to blame, you're actually pulling it closer, pulling it closer, pulling it closer. Be still and know that I'm God. God will pull it closer for you. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. He'll pull it for you. It won't feel heavy. Guys, I just want to let you know I love you. I do. I've been in your shoes. And I know what's on the backside of it. That's why I'm so passionate. Go get what God has for you. If you need help, listen to more podcasts. If you need help, click the link and book a call with our team to explore the coaching options. Change your life. Promise you that. Or you could love on me in this moment and rate this 5 stars on one of the podcast platforms. If you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe. But I'm just thankful for you.